hello, lazy people. For those who didn't want to watch every single episode of all the different episodes, I thought, anyway, and I dragged Grant into this idea, which is we're just going to give a general overview of Daredevil Season 1.
It was damn good!
I fucking loved it. Yeah, it was a great show. Looking back, there wasn't very much I didn't like. I mean, I thought there were some plot lines that went nowhere.
Yeah.
Some stuff that kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I never really bought the Daredevil Night Nurse thing.
Oh, right. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like
that one just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I was a little irked by that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, though. Like, some plot lines that introduced, but just kind of vanished halfway through.
Yeah, like...
Karen and Foggy had that same issue.
That was
that one I was handled a little better.
Yeah, because that one it kind of faded into person who was pushing him into things got killed, so they were busy bereaving that, followed by...
all the other shit.
Yeah. Where it's just like, they both got too busy to care about caring.
Yeah. I mean, there's great performances, great characters, great writing.
I'm not gonna lie, I did feel Charlie Cox is just a little on the flat side for some reason. Like, he just gave everything the same delivery.
You mean Daredevil?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes. I think there's a lot of subtlety into the performance, especially towards the second half of the season. I felt like he kind of was more comfortable in the role.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I do see what you're saying, I do agree to a certain extent, but I think, like, that's not to say even then he didn't deliver solid performance when he was really demanding.
It just kind of became more obvious near the end for me. I was like...
See, I was going the opposite way. I felt that way more towards the beginning, and towards the end I thought his performance came a little more nuanced and layered.
No, it did, but it's just, I still kind of noticed it more by that point. Where it's like, no, still good.
No, I think I disagree with you on that, but more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
Well, I'm not saying, like, he did worse as time went on. I'm just saying, like, for some reason, I kind of noticed... I noticed it more.
Okay, I see what you're saying. No, I mean, like, I definitely see where you're coming from on that. I definitely see why you get that impression. For me, though, like, I kind of did the opposite. I noticed, like, a little more... Just the subtle things he was doing. Especially, like, in episode 11, when he's really having the moral dilemma. I thought that's when it really kind of showed, but not overtly.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Oh, that's definitely a better moment, yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, of course we got to talk about Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
Which is, my god, easily the best Marvel villain they've ever released so far.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they did a good job of, like, actually making him a layered villain that, like, grew over time, or definitely had, like, a plausible, like, good, deliberately paced change.
Mm-hmm.
And how he went from, like, this giant who saw himself as, like, the smallest thing in the world, like, actually inhabiting the role of the Kingpin.
Yeah, definitely. Even then, like, which is kind of weird, because he starts out as the Kingpin. It's not like he grows into the role. He already is the Kingpin, and yet he changes so dramatically and so violently over the course of the season. I was actually surprised how little actual comic book villains there were in the first season.
Yeah.
Like, I had to Google it. Like, I think I mentioned this in one of the other vlog videos, where it's like, I get to the point where, like, I do this with Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, wherever, like, they bring up a character's full name, or even, like, their first name, I Google it to see if, like, it's anyone I should know.
Yeah.
Because I think we had Kingpin, of course, we had Leland Owsley, who's the Owl, or his son, I don't know, we'll see what happens there.
Definitely alluding to it.
Without spoiling that.
Mentioning Gladiator?
Yeah, Gladiator's in this very, very briefly, like, in the comic books, you can see, like, his chest plate design is actually on the table at his office, so they have a nice little nod to that. But yeah, he was like this ridiculous villain, and he was a big, huge guy. He had like razor, what do they call them, circular razors on his arms and shit like that. That's kind of like what they're hinting at when he starts chucking them at Daredevil. At
the saw blades.
The saw blades, thank you. But other than that, I think that was it. I mean, from the comic books anyway. I mean, there was Nobu, there was the Russians, there was Madame Gao. There was rumors going around about who the hell Madame Gao might be.
Oh.
I'm curious as hell myself. Actually, that's another thing I want to talk about, is I was actually looking at the IGN article about like Easter eggs and shit like that. There's a lot of speculation that a lot of this might be set up for the Iron Fist series.
Yeah, you were talking about that beforehand, because like the way they introduced that element when Stick came into the picture.
Yeah, like Stick brought a lot of that whole ninja element to this picture. This one, mostly Madame Gao is where a lot of the Iron Fist ideas are popping up, because apparently like the little red question mark thing is like a symbol of the red serpent, which is like this this ancient organization that basically helps Iron Fist get his powers in the first place. And they think there's rumors, this is all speculation, that, and as you can tell, I'm kind of assuming you've watched some of the series at this point before watching this video, that Lady Gao, the place she says like, oh, I'm far from China or something like it might be referring to the land where Iron Fist ends up getting his powers and he gets his training and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes. It's entirely possible Lady Gao might appear in the Iron Fist series, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm down for that.
Slightly off topic, you've been seeing the behind-the-scenes stuff for Jessica Jones and
Luke Cage. Yeah. I've seen pictures of it. Yeah, that's when I was like, if they turn out as good as this one, I'm definitely in for this little universe within a universe thing. That
admittedly, it helped that Drew Goddard was one of the executive producers for this show, who is pretty damn good.
What else has he worked on?
Cabin in the Woods, Buffy. Oh God! I know he's done more stuff. I just suddenly can't remember.
Hey, when that happens.
Yeah. IMDb. But let's keep talking in the meantime.
Yeah. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Iron Fist teaser. There's a few other little nods to comic books too. There's an Elektra reference that I missed the first time, and I was like, oh, that was an Elektra reference. Oh, that makes sense.
Hey, that's right. He worked on Cloverfield. He was the director of that, and your favorite Pepsi advertisement.
Which one was that? World War Z. Zombie apocalypse saved by the power of Pepsi. I heard they took that out of the DVD. I was so pissed.
Oh, the unrated version, probably.
Yeah, I know. One version took out the Pepsi the vending machine section. I was like, no, that was the best part.
Yeah. I love how everyone ignored the Mountain Dew. All right, back to the show again. But another good. Okay, so next I want to talk about is the idea of how they paralleled Daredevil and Fisk.
Yeah.
And just how the idea that these are both men who were pretty much risking going over the edge, and how there really wasn't much differentiating the two, except for evidently Catholicism.
Yeah,
but I mean
that was a great speech by the way.
Yeah, it was.
That's shit I would use for an audition. I love that speech.
You mean that Samaritan bit?
No, I'm talking about the one in episode 10 when he was talking to the scene. He's talking to his wife,
right?
Or not his wife, his girlfriend.
Oh,
when she's in the coma.
Yeah,
and he's talking about I don't know how to pray. That speech.
Oh yes.
Which is oh my god, that was an amazing fucking monologue.
Yeah. So I thought we were talking about the Good Samaritan one in the last.
That was a good one too.
I kind of realized we also should.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that in the last video, but that's okay.
But it's these are both men that want to do whatever they can for their city, but they're both going through less than conventional means. Murdoch, it's arguable for a couple things. That one, he's a devout Catholic, so he actually has more regret about the actions that he does. And secondly, he's a lawyer. He actually does, have more legitimate connection to law and trying to make things better that way as well.
Yeah. No, I mean you're right. That was something I think pointing out throughout the vlog videos, where just a good majority of the supporting cast who find out who Daredevil is basically tell him just how full of shit he is. And I felt like that. And I like that. It was in episode 11 and I feel like that finally sunk in. He started to legitimately doubt himself.
Yeah. And
that's kind of when that whole plot line kind of really came into its own. And I think it's when the actor Charlie Cox really came into his own as the character too. A lot of these characters some of them kind of dive right in and just immediately just own their part. I think the guy playing with Fisk really
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, that's why I don't say his name. Really just jumped in and just fucking owned it from scene one. Even I would argue Wesley, his right hand man. At the second he's on screen, he owned that fucking part.
And man, what a way he went!
I know. All right, spoiler.
Yeah.
It's you know what you do. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Just we're not giving specifics as to how he. We're not gonna say how.
He goes out with a bang.
A bit more spoilerific than me. But just, it's one of those things where For us, we both went, holy hell!
Yep. Like, I almost texted you after, I was like, dude. Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, so.
Yeah. Wasn't when I texted you, though, it's like, dude, the end of episode 11! I was like,
and I'm like, no, shush.
Yeah.
Shush.
All I'm gonna say is, holy hell!
I don't know, like, this is generally just a great start with really interesting characters.
Like, because the other thing is, like, the funny thing is, like, Marvel talks about how they try to be the fun series, yet this is their clear departure from that philosophy.
No, like, this is them trying new things, and I really admire them for not remaining stagnant with their let's make it fun and lighthearted shit that they've been doing, which, it's worked. They're all good movies. I can't think of a movie that I would say is bad.
Yeah, it's like even
and they're ones I haven't, like, loved, but I never will call them bad.
Because, like, even their weakest ones, which are arguably, Iron Man 2 and Thor 2, are still, like, all
they're
right.
still decent, yeah.
It's like, they're not, it's like, average at worst is the best way to describe it.
But, for a series that's been going on this long is really impressive when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like Pixar, except not as disappointing as Cars 2. But,
what else?
so far, we have yet to see a Cars 2 come out of Marvel. We'll see.
Oh dear.
I hope not. That could be Luke Cage. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. The funny thing about Kingpin though is that his acting is very theatrical. Like,
yeah,
there's
but
a
it
certain,
works.
Yeah, like there's an over the topness to it, but it felt fitting.
Mm.
Almost like like the idea of a man overcompensating, which given the character's initial stature was
stature. But
no pun intended. Was fitting. As we said, it was fitting for the character. This guy who, like, as we mentioned, the giant who's like still very meek.
Yeah. But he grows into a much more confident and much more savage individual as time goes on.
As
like
few people will, who are no longer amongst the cast, will tell you.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, I thought was kind of interesting, is the fact that the show, like the first half of the season, really, like up till episode 9, I think, really, when all that shit went down. The show was really just taking a lot of risk with its violence, with its atmosphere, with what it's doing with its characters. I mean, like, what was it, like the first 4 episodes? There's a warrior Russian guy ripping off ribs off a dead guy and using it as a shiv. So,
yeah. Yeah, it did kind of tone itself down near the
end. Like towards the end, like it kind of got toned down a little bit. It's like, that's kind of interesting. Like it started playing a bit more safe. Maybe they thought they were.
Well, I think it had something to do with like a showrunner change, like halfway through.
That's possible. Like even like in the first, like because
if I remember correctly, Drew Goddard was actually the showrunner at the beginning, but then he had to switch. But then he had to switch out, so he just became executive producer, and then Stephen DeKnight took over.
That would explain a few things.
Yeah, that's what it was, I think.
Because I mean, like Kingpin's first kill in the show is because he smashed this guy's head in the door until his head just explodes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like in the first few episodes. I mean, like. One of the few flaws of this show so far is the fact that it does have a tendency to drag on something longer than it needs to. Like, one thing that frustrated me in the first few episodes is the fact that they wouldn't say Wilson Fisk's name, or they try to keep it a surprise. Like, we all know who it fucking is. Anyone who works with Salt knows it's the Kingpin. We all know it's Wilson Fisk. Why are we stretching this out? That didn't make any sense to me. But, even then, that wasn't bad, because when we got Wilson Fisk, it was absolutely worth the wait.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned about the showrunner thing, like, does make a lot more sense. I hope he comes back as showrunner for
He's not.
He's not?
He confirmed that because he's going to be working on a movie. So the showrunners now are going to be the main writers for the series.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping they kind of get back to that greenness, because I really liked what they were doing with that.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, even, like, the camera work was really experimental. Yeah. Because, like, that one, like, 5-minute long fight scene that was just one long shot.
Like, that kind of reminded me of Old Boy for the most part.
A little bit, yeah. Like, I think we talked about this before. I was thinking more like True Detective a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Except that was like 20 minutes.
Which, ironically, True Detective, that kind of reminded me more of Children of Men, the way they shot that.
True, yeah, a little bit, yeah, with the whole horror aspect.
Yeah, because, like, it's not just the fact it's a long take, but it's the way they shot it that, like, it kind of reminds of these particular movies.
Fair enough, that's fair. But yeah, overall, it's a great start to, like, the Defenders sub-universe, almost.
Yeah. I am curious to see if they bring them into like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That would be interesting. Like, because we all know, like, Luke Cage has been an Avenger before. He actually led the Avengers for a while. Yeah. I think he's... I don't know if he still leads it.
Given the abilities of Luke Cage, admittedly, that would make more sense. But I also thought Daredevil was like part of the Avengers at some point as well.
No, because I think they're planning to bring him in, but then shit happened in the Daredevil comics that kind of said, oh, nope, that's not going to happen. He's going to go to San Francisco now. And that's where he resides now. Actually, they really fucked up with Daredevil's character for a while there. Thankfully, he came back from that.
Yay.
Just look up Shadowland.
Mm.
Is
that the good example or the bad example?
The terrible example.
Okay.
Like, because... Okay, I'm giving away... This happened like 5 years ago, so I'm not really giving too much away. But, what happened in the comic books is Daredevil just getting darker and darker and darker, to the point where he straight up just fucking murders the Kingpin and takes over his empire.
Huh.
Which it's sparked by, Kingpin kills Foggy Nelson, and that just kind of leads him down just an incredibly dark path.
So they basically Green Lanterned him.
More or less. Oh, God, they did. No, because I'm not... That's exactly what they fucking did, except...
I'm so sorry.
Except Jeff Johns did it well. This one was just like... They had this really dark, interesting way to take the Daredevil character.
Yeah.
And then... I'm not even making this up. They go, oh no, that's not the real Daredevil. It's this Daredevil's possessed by a demon.
Oh, God. My God! They did Green Lantern!
Exactly, yeah. Now you know why I reacted that way.
From what I heard, it's like, the transition of like how Green Lantern basically became Parallax is pretty stupid, but the redemptive arc of it was pretty good.
I never read the very original storyline for the Green Lantern Parallax storyline. I know I've loved Jeff Johns' run and what he did with that particular storyline and how his whole arc went with that series.
Yeah.
It was the only one book for like 5 years. It was a great storyline, and I own all the hardcovers. I have 3 monographed.
Yeah.
But,
cool.
And I have not read a Green Lantern book since the end of that run. I was like, that is it. That is the ending. I am not reading it anymore. I'm not ruining it for myself.
Probably a smart move.
Yeah.
Let me see, what else is there? It gets back to some supporting cast. Like, I know we had kind of our differentiating opinions on Foggy.
Yeah. I don't know, Foggy grew on me.
Yeah. Admittedly I was a little iffy on him in the first episode, but like I think I liked him a lot more quickly than you did, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I was terrified when the first episode started up is I was terrified this was going to turn into a crime serial.
Yeah.
I was so terrified. Like, no, please no, do not let us turn into a cliche cop serial. We do not need that.
Yeah, thank God it did not.
Thank God it did not. Like, as soon as the second episode started out with, like, him almost nearly dead in a trash can, I was like, okay, we're not going that route. Cool.
Yeah.
By the way, man, I'm just disappointed that he's not coming back to run the show, because I really liked his portion of the show. But,
yeah.
Like, even then, they didn't do the whole 16 hours ago do thing. Even then when they did do that in the third episode, it was mostly for like a Tarantino-esque joke.
Yeah. What was that whole bit again? Oh yeah, that whole thing.
The gun jamming, which
yeah.
Oh, they scared. Episode 3 was like the one episode I did not like. I will admit, because we talked about this before.
Yeah, I was fine with it overall, but I do admit, yeah, that was a little. Like, even that kind of bugged me. It's like, wait, if you're the guy who stands for truth and justice and doesn't want to go for any of the corrupt guys, like, why are you helping this guy out?
It's like, is it some kind of bluff or double bluff? Like, no, it just is what it is.
It's like, nope, they just need money. That being said, at least that didn't stop him from going after the guy. True. Oh, now I remember. I think I was like, wait, maybe are you going to do like that runaway jury thing where it's just like, Lincoln Lawyer thing. Which I'd rather not spoil, because that was actually a decent movie.
That was all Matt McConaughey, right?
Yeah, what was that? I think it said that was the start of the reconnaissance.
The reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it now?
The reconnaissance. There we go.
Oh. Alright.
Yeah!
What if McConaughey played Jesus, and that's just how he did it? Like, don't worry, y'all, I'm gonna be back in a few days.
Yeah.
And I expect a lot of chocolate bunnies. Anyway.
Even the way he talks about God and his personality, I could actually see it.
Yeah, right? I was on the cross before it was cool. Before I got paid to do it. I'm a horrible person.
Oh, jeez.
Well, he did die by dragons, so kind of still true.
Yeah.
Anywho, one thing I do want to talk about though is a couple things I want to talk about. One, surprisingly, no bullseye in this series so far.
They really want to distance themselves from that movie.
Well, yeah, but bullseye is like you can't have Daredevil without bullseye. It's kind of like you can't.
They'll probably bring him second season.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like Daredevil and Elektra, I'm willing to bring them Elektra in too.
Yeah.
Do it better, I'm assuming. Because they reference Elektra very briefly. Because like you know the part where they're doing the college flashbacks, and Foggy says, "Hey, whatever happened to you and that Greek chick?"
Oh, I feel dumb for not guessing that.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I had to look it up online. I was like, oh, I should have got that.
Yeah.
But like there's speculation going on that the guy who snipes the detective might be Bullseye because he has like some eagle eye. I guess like an ace card like in his pocket or something like that. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, the other thing I want to talk about, which was the transition from kind of like the vigilante to the superhero kind of aspect. Which I guess you can kind of argue why it got a little more lighter in tone as going on too. But I liked how they incorporated the symbolism of the devil and why he would take on that persona, how he'd want that to become his persona. You know that scene in the church?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think back to it, but it's like I'm trying to connect the dots in terms of like that proper symbolism.
Well, like he said, like how the devil was always maybe God made the devil so that way people would have a reason to come back to the light, like something to be scared of, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. That actually is a pretty good little symbolic gesture in there.
Yeah, like I was in a couple episodes ago, and I was like, oh, that's actually really clever. That's a really clever way to do it.
Yeah,
and it gives him good reason why he would want to incorporate himself, you know, as a devil.
Yeah.
You know, with this, he put on a silly costume. I tried to do King, but it comes out as Batman.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really clever. Like a lot of the other little clever nods that they don't. Like I like how Daredevil's costume changed throughout the series. I thought that was really clever how they did that. Just overall, just very cleverly done and very smartly done, very well acted. So I can't recommend the series high enough. It's like one of the best things Marvel's done so far, if not the best thing Marvel's done so far.
Yeah,
it's debatable, but
I kind of wish we could talk a bit more about the Ben Urich character, but
I mean we can.
Yeah, it's like in terms of like the overall impact, there's not much reason to. I'd say.
Yeah,
like he was.
I kind of wish they did more with him.
Yeah, like. God, I wish they kept him. Yeah, I kind of wish they kept him alive because But then again, it's like. I'm not sure that just because of like his significance in the comic world, or because I did like him as a character. And,
yeah, he was a good actor behind him too.
Yeah, and they made him very sympathizable with the whole kind of like wife subplot, which.
Oh yeah, like him and that whoever played the wife had just like instant chemistry. Like you instantly bought their connection. Yeah,
it's just the thing is just spoiler. As we mentioned, I can't remember if I mentioned this one or not, but Ben unfortunately dies. Like,
yeah, you mentioned that already.
Okay.
You horrible spoiler person.
That's right. Someone thought we did that. Or I didn't do that, but... No, it was Wesley.
Well, you mentioned it before you said spoiler.
Oh, fair enough.
Because I was paying attention to everything.
Okay. Yeah, my memory sucks.
But... Who are you?
Who you?
Where's that from?
I don't know, it's in a... I think that was from Family Guy. Where they're making fun of, like, the whole Italian stereotype.
No, for as long as this video is, I might as well make an MC and review team episode at this point.
But anyway, because his death is just another one of the, oh, God, things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, God. Wesley was one of those characters, like, I finally started to really appreciate how good and how well he was played.
Ben.
Oh, you're talking about Ben? What about him and Wesley?
Yeah.
Although Ben had the unfortunate, like, 3 days from retirement feel to it towards the end. I don't know if you caught that too.
Yeah.
But like towards the end, I was like, oh, he's gonna fucking die.
Yeah. No, it's like the moment I saw him walking in the street, I was just like, he's a dead man. He is a dead man.
Well, like as soon as like the wife started going, you tell the truth, Ben. You go out there and you tell the world the truth.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're gonna fucking die. You're
Yeah.
gonna fucking die. I mean, Grundy had a really good, like almost Godfather-esque scene before he died, but I was like, oh.
And the thing that's even more tragic is that it's basically his wife has Alzheimer's, as far as I can tell. And I thought to myself, and I thought this is how one of the scenes is going, like I misheard it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh God, she's at his funeral and she's already forgetting he's dead. It was like that is.
I think that would have been like too harsh, even by like the writer's standpoint. It's like, dude, that's kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
Let's give us some kind of book note.
Yeah, I was like, oh God.
Bookend.
Yeah. I was like, oh God, that is just tragic.
Oh,
yeah.
Whew. So.
Yeah.
Hell of a ride at the Daredevil series.
Yeah, this is a really damn good series.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like this is arguably one of the best thing. Almost probably the best thing they've done. It's like, as you said, it's probably like up there with
Captain America 2.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's better. In my opinion, it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy, but
yeah,
very different. Like these are very, very. This is like apples and oranges.
Yeah, that's true.
So
like, because for me, the top 3 things around are definitely that. It's like Guardians, Winter Soldier, and this. Like, I'm not sure what order, but
yeah,
this is definitely like on their top 3 specs.
It's definitely the most risky thing they've made so far, and I admire them for taking that chance.
Riskier than a thing with a tree and a raccoon.
Head smash in a car door.
I know.
And pulling ribs to use out as weapons.
I know. Yeah, each thing was risky in their own regards.
Yeah,
Once
true.
again, as you said, apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Oranges.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen in the sequel. Groot's gonna grow an apple in his head.
Apples and origins. That is an excellent title for an origin story, though. Anything else you should talk about? Or
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Watch
this show!
I can't wait for season 2.
There was one little gripe.
Oh,
this doesn't really affect at all. Did it feel like there were times where he was just needlessly acrobatic?
I was okay with it.
Okay, that was probably more like one specific time was like when he's running on the rooftops.
See, I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, where it's just like he's as Matt Murdock, like not in his costume.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like, find him, fight! Why are you flipping? Find him, fight! Why are you doing that? Find him, fight! Why?
I was kind of like, hey, if he's doing that himself, good for him. That was kind of my thought. I don't know if that was him or a stunt, or
I'm pretty sure that was a stunt double.
probably either way. Stunt double, sidekick to Daredevil. It's like the one joke, we kind of have to share this one though, is because we were making it's been the finale, there was a couple moments where the music was very reminiscent of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
To the point where it was like, oh, I know this scene, this is where, this is where Joker robs the bank. And then I was thinking about it, and I told you, it's like, hey, wait a minute, now that I think about it, if we think about Full Metal Jacket, technically Kingpin has fought the Joker.
Or what was the other line that we were laughing at? It was like, at some point in the finale, he proposes to Vanessa. And
Vanessa being the hot older woman.
Oh, that's who we should have talked about.
Oh, Vanessa?
Yeah, like, that person who, like, we are fairly certain she's got, like, another endgame, like, that's gonna bleed into season
I don't
2.
know if she's got another endgame or just got just a really dark side.
Yeah, because, like, throughout the entire season, I had, like, this Game of Thrones vibe from her.
I don't know about that. I just really, to me, it reminded me a lot of Frank and what's her name, Claire from House of Cards.
Yeah,
that's kind of more the vibe I got off of it.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Because it's one of those things they can tell they have a genuine connection to each other, but they also have this insane dark side to them.
Yeah,
and that's why they go so well together.
Yeah, but anyway, what happened was in one of his, I will admit, a little bit in the corny deliveries, the thing when he says "You are my heart."
Oh yeah.
And "You're my," and it just goes in like a slow of him being dragged away. And it's half expected to go, everything!
Gary Oldman. I would fucking love it if Gary Oldman popped him in a Marvel movie.
What villain would you want him to be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Thanos is already taken. It'd have to be someone like really wacky and eccentric. Because I love, there's two kinds of Gary Oldman. There's serious Gary Oldman who's good, and then there's insane Gary Oldman who's better.
God, who would he play. We'll discuss that later, though. But
No, I want to explore this. I want to explore this. Maybe we should just make that its own video.
yeah,
That's actually a good idea. Let's do that. All right, we're gonna wrap this up, and we're gonna do who would Gary Oldman be as a Marvel villain?
yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so yeah, as we said, watch this show. It is awesome. Even if it kind of goes a little bit safer near the end, it's just still such a well done series of great explored characters, great action,
Oh yeah.
and just great cinematography. Great, just almost
There's great pacing storytelling throughout.
yeah, for the most part. As you said, some things do drag on.
Yeah, I mean most of the time.
Yeah.
So,
but nothing too detrimental.
no. So I think that's all we got for this show. So I hope that gave you an impression of whether or not you like this show. If you haven't watched it already, otherwise, we'll be back to discuss Gary Oldman. Bye.
See ya.